Happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I have finally got around to these two items. I know I talked about this in my so lounging around plans video. I think this is the last of what I said I was going to make. I've made everything else I think I mentioned in that video. So we are coming in today with a review of two Rebecca Page items. First of all, I do want to welcome all my new subscribers. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Thank you for hitting that bell and getting the notification so you don't miss an upload. So welcome, welcome, welcome. If you like the video, don't forget on your way out to thumbs up the video and feel free to share it out. So today I am excited about, and of course before I forget, I'm just wearing my Cashmerette Saybrook Tank that I hacked into a dress, and this is a ready to wear bolero. And yeah, we have some errands to run today. It's a little bit of an overcast, but which is actually good today. So yeah, so very nice relaxing day. So let me start with the basic underwear, because I do have my sports bra right here. We'll be talking about that. And so yeah, so I picked this up back in May, and let me see, I have all my notes and I just want to make sure I cover everything. Let me just pop up a picture of the line drawing so you can see. But there are three different versions that you can make. There is a high-waisted version, a mid-rise version, and a low-rise version. And you can finish them off either with a waistband, leg bands, fold-over elastic, picot elastic, or you can run elastic through, through the band for the waistband. So there are different options. The sizing does go up to, you all know Rebecca Page patterns go up to pretty size inclusive 5XL. So that's giving you a waist from, she starts at an extra small up to a 5XL, which gives you a waist starting at 24 inches all the way up to 50 inches in waist. I picked a size 4XL because my waist is falling between the 43 to 46 and my hip is falling between the 52 to 54 size. So I just went ahead and did a straight 4XL. And I chose, and I'll tell you why I chose this, because this might be helpful. It might be TMI for some people, but this might be helpful when deciding if you have, and you all know I talk about this all the time, if you have a little tire around your midsection, and you have to take that in consideration when you're making things, I decided to do the mid-rise. Now, typically, when I buy, and I haven't bought packaged underwear out of the store in quite some time, because I think the last pairs underwear I did make. No, I've since bought a pack of underwear because that was a long time ago. Anyway, and this is all the things that I've actually recently had to consider now that I'm losing weight. But typically when I buy them in the store, I always bought the high rise because I wanted them to make sure they made it over that little tire area, that little donut around the middle, and sat in a spot where I knew the waistband wasn't going to roll down. And so I always bought the high rise underwear packaged in the store. And so I noticed, and this is how I do know the last ones I must have purchased, I've noticed now that I've started to lose weight, that isn't working anymore, because I'm losing weight around my butt area and everything like that. All of that is shrinking, so it's kind of funny. I gotta laugh at myself. If they're up around my waist, because there's that, it's a little baggy back there, they either start riding up on me and everything like that, or if I push the waistband down around the mid-rise area, it's just all this extra fabric around my butt. So yeah, so I decided when I made these, I would just go for the mid-rise and just go for that version. And actually the versions that I chose was I did the band option around the leg, the waist band, and the leg band. And then another option, I made 3 pair, I'll show you. The other option I made was with Pico elastic. And so yeah, that's kind of why I chose the sizes that I did. I did use scraps. You don't need a lot of fabric, it says, because you do have the option to just have the main fabric. You have an option to line it. You have an option to add mesh, and there's instructions for all of this. And I can see why. Obviously, with mesh, you can add a little bit more tummy control in those areas, especially depending on what type of garment. Maybe you have maybe a more form-fitted dress on or something on. You might want mesh, make you some underwear, some meshing to give it a little bit more structure, a little bit more hold. But essentially you only need, like, if you're gonna line it, you need the exact same amount of fabric. You only need like 3/4 yard fabric. If you're lining it, obviously you'll need another 3/4 yards. And then the mesh, you don't need as much. It looks like you need maybe 1/3 of that. And then half for some for bands or whatever in inches. And so so yeah, you don't need a lot. You want to make sure that you have everything. A couple tips I do have, because I used all scraps. Only one of these were sizable scraps. I found, because a few of the pieces, is not that many pieces, it's just the front and back. If you do the waistband and the leg bands, then that's 4, and then the gusset, because you do have an option to do gusset. I'll always do gussets in my underwear. I always prefer that to have that gusset piece in the underwear. Just adds that comfortable layer in between, and then, to me, in my opinion, prevent it from rolling up and all that other different stuff, being uncomfortable. And you do have an option to have a decorative bow. But what I will say with the scraps is I was struggling with my scraps. I thought I had sizable scraps, and they weren't as sizable as I thought. So I ended up kind of tossing them in the in my my little hamper thing. But what you can do for the pieces that call to be cut out on the fold, what you can do is just make that a whole piece. So you can trace it out, because I did trace all my pattern pieces, trace it out as normal, but then put it on a regular piece of paper, fold it in half, and then or you can just flip it over. It's 2 different ways you can do it. What I would probably do is, what I'm saying is, have a piece of paper, put your traced out pattern piece on it, trace it out, and then just open the paper up, and then you have one full pattern piece. That way you can play a little bit more with your scraps. And so I thought about doing that for a couple, but the scrap still wasn't large enough, even if I did that, to make it happen. So I just worked with what I had. So those are a couple tips that I do have. I can see how, because you do have the option to line it, and I am definitely going to consider this, because I do want to make some more swimsuits, even though I'm not in Aquafit right now. So I probably won't even think about making them until maybe spring, summer next year, depending on how all this stuff is going with the pandemic, and if we're able to get back into the gym, maybe for some kind of classes, like for my Aquafit classes. But I can totally, with the high rise, because you can line it, you can totally use your the lining fabric that you would use in a swimsuit and swimsuiting fabric for the outside, and use your swimwear elastics, and totally do these bottoms as swimsuit bottoms, because you can just line it, that lining, like I said. And then the for the swimsuit top, because what I'm going to share with you next is the sports bra, and then with all of the the bundle pack for the sports bra for Rebecca Page. You can totally make a swim top, again, using your swimwear elastics, using your swimwear lining, using your swimwear main fabric. Totally. And I definitely want to do it, although if you line it, you cannot use the gusset piece, so I have to look at that, but that is totally doable. Let me just show you the ones that I made. And my serger thread does not match, which I do not care, but I made, let's see here, I'll show you the ones with the band. Yeah, I'll show you the ones with the bands on them. So this is the first pair that I made, and let's see here, I did try them on just to make sure that they fit well, and I had a pair of underwear, I think they were from Lane Bryant, that had the band around the leg. No, it was the band around the waist. But I had the fold over elastic around the leg part. So I decided I want to know how the band is around the leg and the waist. And these fit so comfortably. Hit me right in the perfect spot. No work. Let me turn these inside out so you can see them. I absolutely love. And I think I got some loose threads on here. But anyway, this is how they look. Here's the gusset. This is what I was talking about, that gusset piece. And I do like the way it goes in, because it, you know, it hides the raw edges when you put the band pieces around, if you can tell that. You do, I do have a lot of thread on here. That one end is enclosed, but then this end, she says you have the option to go ahead and stitch that down, which I did. Otherwise this would be open. But so yeah, that's the gusset piece. And what I use for the gusset, I did a haul. Where did I get this? I don't even remember. I forget. But this is just a cotton knit. So I wanted the gusset to be a cotton, breathable, you know, all that good stuff. And so it's really nice. So here's the outside, obviously the inside, and the instructions. I think it took me, it can take you anywhere from maybe the first pair, because it's the first time you're doing it, it might take you 45 minutes to an hour. But after that, I actually, for the first two, once I saw what the layout was, I just did some batch sewing, because you do sew this at 3/8 inch seam allowance. And if you're, whatever parts you need to serge, you know, you're just running that up against the knife. You're not slicing anything off. So that works out. It makes it just go by so much faster. And so these fit so nice. No saggy booty. This is my other pair I made. So super cute. I had some of this here. This is, don't ask me where I got this fabric from, because I don't remember. It's from my scrap bin, but this is a nice weight knit. What I did make sure is the knits that I put together were as close to the same as possible. And so these were the same weight. They're a little bit, these feel like more of a cotton spandex knit. It's not, it is thicker. I will say it's thicker. It's definitely thicker than this one. But super duper soft and super duper comfortable. So I do like that. This, on the other hand, is a thinner knit. And actually, I used this for a cardigan that I still have. But I don't know where I got the fabric from. And then this, let me try to hold that up so you can see. This is more of a, that is a brushed poly knit that I've had in my stash forever. I actually remember making the Sew Over It Eve dress out of this fabric years ago, and I had enough scraps left over, you know, to add them as the bands, the leg bands, and this. But this is a little bit more thinner of a knit, but it's still worked out. I figure because this here did have just a slight more stretch, it will work with this, and it did. You do serge, as I'm saying, you do serge all the tops, again with the gusset lining in the middle, Love, love, love. And I always stitched across at the top of it. Very comfortable. I will say that. Very, very, very comfortable. You do want to make sure, I think it was this pair. And I remember doing this. I had changed the stitch length on my serger. I think I tightened it. I don't know why, but I tightened it. And I ended up loosening it up later. But I tightened it on, I think it was the leg bands or something. And again, I don't know why. But when I did pull them over my leg, a couple of the stitches popped. So the stitches were way, the setting was way too tight. And so I don't know why I did that. I must have been doing some work, thinking of something else. But at any rate, you do top stitch all the way around on the underwear. So after you flip those seams back down, you can't see it on this side, but it's a slight zigzag stitch all the way around. And you do that around the waistband, and you do it around the leg band. And so, which gives it a very nice finish. This one is the pair that I accidentally put the back of the band on to the front of the underwear. But it's not like I'm gonna wear these back, accidentally put them on backwards. It's obvious which side is the front. So yes, very, very comfortable. And one of the things that I will say, when I was making the ones with the picot elastic, you will notice this. I'm going to show you because I was a little worried after I did it. And so here's how the picot elastic looks. Let me try to. So that's and you got the zigzag stitch around. So that's the picot elastic. This, this is a ITY knit, which I think is nice for underwear because it does have a little bit more stretch in there. I think I told you guys, I really don't care for sewing with ITY. So this was some leftover scraps, and I actually have a little bit more of this. So I was thinking about playing with this in my next pair with some stretch lace, because I want to play around with some of the pieces, and you can totally play with the pieces. Say you wanted to do stretch lace on the side, you can totally manipulate your pattern pieces because it's so basic. The pattern is called basic underwear, so you can really do everything. You can do all kind of things. Same thing here. This is the inside. As you can tell, the picot elastic, hopefully, yeah, you can see that I did the same thing where I stitched across the top so that wouldn't be open. But everything is so nice and cleaned off. I love it. Now, when you're doing the elastic for the legs and the waistband, she suggests, which definitely make sure you do, because I thought I didn't do it right initially, is she says to pre-stretch your elastic. Give it a good stretch a few times. And I saw why I did it. I didn't think I did it as much for the waistband as I did for the legs, but I find that what it does is stretch out that elastic. So because it has that stretch factor in there, it kind of help it to lay better. For sure. Now when you're doing let me just show you, when you're doing the legs with picot elastic, I didn't see this, look at the instructions for the fold over elastic. It's probably the same, but when you're putting the picot elastic in around the legs, you're not stretching that picot elastic around the front of the underwear. It's around the back so it can hug your butt. And then you get it, so you don't have to worry about it. You don't want it all gathered up around the front. That wouldn't be very comfortable. So but at any rate, so you will have the gathering more so in the back, the back part of the underwear, but the front, not at all. So if I hold these up, you will notice they kind of flop down. And I was so worried. I was like, oh no, did I not stretch the elastic out? Is this gonna just fold down my stomach? And then I'll have to go back in with some if it did, I would have just attached. I wouldn't have unpicked that picot. I would have just put 1/4 inch elastic around, all the way around. I have some black 1/4 inch elastic to bring it in, but because what I did, I measured the picot elastic around my midsection. I stretched it just twice, and then I measured it again. And then I used that measurement to determine what I was going to put around here. And of course, for all of these, she suggests breaking everything up in quarters when you attach the front, the back, and the sides. Put everything in quarters so you have a nice amount in between, right? And so I did that, and when I put it on, I was like, why is it flopping? I still don't know why it's flopping, but at any rate, I put them on and they fit perfect. I was shocked because I knew for sure when I put these on, this is what they were gonna do. But yeah, so I'm not sure, unless maybe I overstretched the picot elastic. I don't know, but it worked out. These sit flat and flush right up against my midsection all the way around. Again, no extra room in the butt. Everything just fits well. So now I have moved from high waist panties to mid-rise panties, which I am totally fine with, very comfortable. Okay, now for the sports bra. So the sports bra, let me show you the line drawing so you can see what the front and back actually looks like. So the front, as you can tell, you have the cups, you have the center cup seams, and you have the center front piece, and then the back you have that little keyhole with the hook and eye at the top of the keyhole and at the bottom of the keyhole. And so the bra is fully lined. And so you will need to have underbust elastic. You do need, as it says, 3/8 inch elastic, which you put around the the neckline and arm side seams. She has a lot of information in here, and she has videos on how to measure yourself, because you want to make sure she uses your underbust and your full bust to determine what your band size would be, and your cup size. And so you go off the chart. Is very easy to do, and if you get hung up, she does have a video on where to measure specifically in the video. So the sizing goes up to, well, the size chart. So again, you have to go through the measurements to know exactly where you fit, but the bands go from a size 28 all the way up to a 48, and then the cup sizes go from a AA up to an M. Again, this is not your ready to wear sizes, so don't think, oh, you know, I'm a 34D in the stores and that's what I'm gonna be here. No, don't go off of that. Go off of the measurement chart that is in this pattern. And so when I measure my underbust, I was at a 37, my full bust 50, so that gave me a 13-inch difference, and which put me at the highest cup size, which is an M. And then I went up to, because you're supposed to go up. My underbust was 37. I went up to a 38 for the cup size, so 38M. And I will be honest, when I saw that, I was like, there is no way I'm fitting into a 38M. And because the pattern pieces, you have the option to that's why you want to measure yourself, because you only want to print off the pattern pieces that correspond with your size. You don't want all these pattern pieces. And so I sent this actually PDF plotting. Yes, you can print this on your printer at home and tape it together. I was lazy, didn't want to do that, so I sent what I did, because I was worried that the M, I was like, I didn't know. Well, the 38M, I didn't know. But I also got L. I went down a cup size 2. I was like, ooh, I don't know. I just didn't know. I was like, okay, we'll see. So definitely take your measurements. And then that'll determine which pattern pieces you'll need, because again, you don't want to print off all those pattern pieces. She does go over in the pattern some fitting notes. So if you have if you find out in the end that the band is too loose or too tight, the cup fit isn't quite right, she actually maps out in this pattern fitting notes that walk you through how to suggestions on how to fix those issues. You do have your main fabric, you have your lining fabric, power mesh. You do have an option of doing underwire casing or underwires. You all know I'm not a fan of that, so I wouldn't do that for a sports bra anyway, much less a regular bra. Don't hold me to that, to a regular bra, but for a sports bra I wouldn't put a wire in anyway. Now, this is what I was saying about in conjunction with the basic underwear. You can totally, with that bundle pack, make a really cute two-piece swimsuit. I would do the high rise for the underwear, and then again you have to switch out all the materials for swimsuiting materials and elastics and stuff like that, but totally, I can see totally doable. The knit fabric does need to be a 4-way stretch with at least, it says 4-way stretch with at least 40% stretch. I know a lot of people talk about 4-way, 1, 2, 3, 4. To me, that doesn't make sense. It stretches this way, stretches this way. 2-way stretch. That's how I look at it. But again, you want to make sure that it has at least 40% stretch in it. And so once you get into the actual supplies that you need, you do need underbust band elastic. Now in the instructions, she says you can use any size that you want, but it just still needs to be wide enough where the hook and eye is going to close. Otherwise, I can totally see how you would adjust the pattern piece. Say you want something a little wider, how you can adjust the pattern piece. Probably take you a little bit of tweaking to do, but I just made mine work, and you'll see I had some issues. And then you do need neckline and arm side elastic. She says 3/8 inch elastic. I did have 3/8 inch elastic on hand. However, I can totally see you using a 1/4 inch elastic, because it's just sewing into the seam line when you're putting your after you've put your lining and your main pieces together. And of course you need your thread. There is a measurement chart for the underbust elastic. However, I would suggest, even though, and I do this for most patterns that have elastic charts in them, I tend not to use them because I know what I would want comfortable for me. So I did measure the elastic around me first, the underbust area, again, just to see what I thought. And I know it's supposed to be snug, because 34 inches, if my underbust is 37, I know that's negative ease, but I wanted mine just a little bit snugger, so mine was maybe 32 inches. And so yeah, just do what's comfortable, what you think is comfortable for you. One of the biggest tips I have, and I actually learned this when I made my first bra, the classic bra following Beverly Johnson's craftsy video, which is back up, you guys. Anyway, maybe I'll talk about that in another video. But anyway, one of the things that Beverly Johnson mentioned, which I did in this when I made the sports bra, which shows in the pattern, is after you've cut everything out, make sure everything is labeled. Label your pieces, label them. Trust me, because it's not a lot of pattern pieces for the sports bra, it's only 5, but you just still want to make sure, because you're cutting 2 of everything and 2 of everything of the lining, so you just want to make sure you have all the right pieces, and then lay out the pattern pieces the way the sports bra will go together. And that was the biggest thing I remember learning from Beverly Johnson's craftsy class, is that lay out everything in the order, in the way that it will be put together. That way when you need to sew different cups together, oh yep, that makes sense, and then you're grabbing all the right pieces, and then when you lay it back out, you're like, oh okay, and then you know that center front you're putting together, it all makes sense. So I highly recommend that. And because you do have your lining and your fabric pieces, that's all laid out. Lay out the pattern pieces off to the side, also laid out in that same way, because again That's a little bit of an extra step, but for me, I find that it helps when they're talking about the cradle and the side seams and the upper seams. The pattern, the actual, I don't mark all that stuff on the actual pattern, the fabric, but the pattern pieces have it. And if I have the pattern pieces laid out, I can see, oh, yep, that's the arm side, that's the cradle, that's the upper seam and all that. So definitely lay out all your pattern pieces because it helps. Then once you start putting everything together, and I will say the instructions for this, the only area I will say that I got hung up on a little bit, that I kind of felt wasn't as clear, was the keyhole, because I was at the point where it was time for me to turn everything out after I attached the lining to the main fabric, that the area around the keyhole wasn't sewn, and I was thinking, did I miss that somewhere? And I had to go back through and look and it does say sew around the keyhole, but then there wasn't really a clear picture what around the keyhole was, because everything is labeled very, very well in the pattern. And so but yeah, that was the only thing instruction wise that I struggle with, which is very minor. So this is how she looks. So if you all saw my excuse me, my plans video when I talked about making this, I know I wanted a sports bra. So you won't see me in this for this reason right here. But the first one I made of this, I wanted it to be more for wearing around the house. So I didn't want it as structured. I didn't need the girls sitting all up here for being around the house. Still wanted to hold the girls upright, but be a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more at ease. And so this fabric, this is more actually the same fabric from my underwear that I used here. This is, I don't know, this is some scrap I found, and I just decided to do that for the sides. And then the inside is lined with a knit, a very thin knit. Is this a cotton knit? It's a thin cotton knit that I use. And then yeah, those are those only 3 fabrics? Yes, because then the back is that same black. So that is the sports bra. And when I tell you, when I tried this on, because I just knew this is not gonna fit, and then when I was pulling it all together, I was like, that looked like that might work. And I put it on. Do you guys know this thing fit like a charm? Couple things, let me just tell you. I actually, on one side I didn't do it. Let me show you. So when you lay that elastic down on the inside before you turn this right side out, this is how it's supposed to lay, right? This side, I actually slightly stretched the elastic, so then that made this side kind of ruche up a little bit. It's not supposed to do that. However, that's what happened, and I wasn't going to unpick the elastic. And this is just, for me, a wearable muslin that I can wear around the house. No big deal. The band elastic I already had in my stash. The hook and eye I already had in my stash. And so let me just show you what the back looked like. I'm gonna hook this up real quick so you can see what this back looked like. And I don't know what I did wrong on this here, but something with this hook and eye just was not cooperating, because I do have, this is from a tape, a continuous tape of hook and eye that I have, and something didn't work out right with that, and I'm still trying to figure out what that was. But this is the back, and as you can tell, the bottom of the keyhole, this is how it looks. That's not laying right. This part is laying right, but I think I'm just feeling like I had to put the hook and eye on backwards, or wrong sides over, because see on this side, so with the hook and eye, you open this flap and you put the fabric in and you stitch over the top. So when I did the the other side, let me undo this so you can see. It didn't have the opening. Neither side was open. So I had to cut one of the sides open and kind of force the fabric in, which, you know, fudged on this side. You know, I can close that top hook. The bottom one, look at that. And I was thinking, well, why didn't this one work? Because I don't know if you can tell, the hooks on this side are up here. The eye on this side is down here. And so they don't match up where it goes flat like this. Instead, when I hook them together, there's this jog in between. So it has, I put this in, see how that is? That shouldn't be. And haven't done bras before, I know that's not how that's supposed to be. And so I don't know. I'm gonna have to play with that, or maybe I just need to buy single row hook and eye. Maybe because it's a continuous tape, it is not meant to work like that, because I tried to cut it down to size. Maybe I can't say that I cut it wrong, because it's the same width, and it's the width of the underbust elastic. So yeah, that was really, really strange. And so yeah, and you hear our printer going. Okay, I had to pause because the printer was printing off a lot of stuff over there. But anyway, so, and I've never had that issue with hook and eyes when I've done my other bras before. So yeah, I'll have to look at that, but I was not worried about it for something I'm just wearing around the house. But when I tell you, this is so comfortable, and the girls fit perfectly in there. I was like, really? Now, I was thinking if I needed to shorten that was something else I was looking for, if I need to shorten the straps. It doesn't look like it. I am keeping in mind, because this fabric isn't as, it's a look, parts of this one is like super stretchy. This one, these aren't as stretchy. So I was thinking it's probably fine, but I'll see when I make my sports bra, because what I want to do is make a sports bra out of the different type of fabric, probably more sports bra type materials, different materials, with different lining, probably with power mesh added in there. And I want to do that with some different workout pants and stuff like that. And then I'll show you, because you're not going to see me in this, because this is not, again, not meant for the girls to be sitting up here. They sit up comfortably for sure, but it's more for sitting around the house. And another reason I absolutely love this, you all know I've done the Christina sports bra. That sports bra in the back kind of crisscrosses up towards the top, but what I found after long wear is that crisscross around the back feels like it digs in here, and I feel like it starts making me do like this, and causes a little uncomfortableness around this area. So I like that these straps go across the shoulder to the back. There's no crossing or anything like that in the back. So I do like that. Everything around the arm side fits good. The underbust area fits good. No issues there. So yeah, I highly recommend both of these. You all know I've been saying I was going to sew these up for quite some time, and now it's finally done. I think that was back in July I talked about that. Sewing the pieces together was, again, as long as you have everything laid out and labeled appropriately, just take your time putting the pieces together. It took me about 4.5 hours to put this whole thing together. Again, because you're doing the same construction for the outside as the inside, and then you lay them together. If you've lined bodices before, same concept, right? You have to pull it through through the front, put your arm through the front, in the back, and pull everything through and sew up the sides. Same thing with this. Very, very easy to do, not overly complicated at all. And so I like it. Now I'll have to work out this whole hook and eye situation. I was really shocked by that because if anything, I never had issues with, you know, maybe once before with the hook and eye, but usually I'm pretty spot on with putting those in. But yeah, I'll definitely figure that out. But so yeah, that is my review for the Rebecca Page basic underwear pattern. I have them backwards. And the sports bra. Again, I will leave a link to Rebecca Page down below. You all know it's an affiliate link, so if you choose, you can go ahead and use it. I get slight commission off of them if you do. But yeah, I absolutely love them, and now I definitely need to make more like sports bras for working out in, my walking, a little bit of my slogging, slow jogging that I do. This will work out very, very, very nice. Very nice. And so I'm glad I did order the L cup, the L and the M. So as I lose weight, the next size I will probably fit into is the L. But we'll see. We shall see, because you just, again, and I'll probably just print them at home because it'll be easier at that point instead of keep sending off the PDF plotting. But this first one, I sent off the PDF plotting, but I'll probably print the rest myself, because you can cut off the layers and cut the, and print just that size and tape those pieces together. So for a sports bra, yeah, I'll probably do that for the next size as I continue to lose weight. That'll be much more efficient for me. So all right, everybody, that's all I have. Let me know if you have any questions. Leave them down in the comment section below. Stay tuned for Wednesday. I have decided to do push up a dress in my queue. I was inspired by another YouTuber. I'll tell you who that was, and you'll see what dress it is coming up on Wednesday. So, and then next week Sunday, stay tuned, because I have a fun collaboration video to share with you. So yeah, that is it, everybody. Rebecca Page sports bra, Rebecca Page basic underwear pattern in the books. I will definitely be making more. And yeah, easy breezy, easy breezy. That is it, everybody. You all have a blessed rest of your day. Have a blessed start to your week, and we will see you on Wednesday. Bye.